Okay, here we go. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm going to take you through this presentation, and the presentation is, it's something different for those who've joined me in my calls before. But um, we're going to talk. Before we get into the actual material, I have a question, and I'd like for everybody to kind of just put an answer in the chat. So, what percentage of goals are achieved? You know, people who set goals, what percentage of goals are actually achieved? Just put a number in the chat. Whatever you think. There's no, just to get a sense of what people think. Nobody wants to take a shot at this? 75%, okay. That are achieved, okay, 20%, 50%, okay. Any other answers? 50%, okay, okay. Well, 80%. Okay, 50%. Okay, well, interesting answers, because I used to think that too, that a lot of people, achieve their goals, and it's a lot of percentages. But I'll tell you, this was a shock to me when I learned this. But really, only 7% of goals are achieved. And I used to be part of that 93%, okay, without even realizing that I was part of that 93%. And so I used to, set these goals and stuff, but, I would be going in this self-fulfilling doom cycle, so to speak, and I would just not achieve my goals. So before I move on, I'm going to just talk a little bit about me. Who am I? Because there are some people who I've not met here, and I'm honored that they're joining us today. So that's me over there. And so on your right side, you'll see a bunch of pictures of me with my son. And so my son, I'm a single parent, and I have an 11-year-old son. He's a very important part of my life, but he's not the center of my life. The center of my life is me, and only me. And that's something I realized after a couple of years getting into this work of personal development. But my son and I, we like to vacation together. We love sports. He plays a lot of competitive sports, as you can see my picture on the other side there with a bunch of sports. But we love to go watch sports like hockey, basketball. And last year we did we had a great experience where we did a Mother's Day shoot. That's that picture on the top where we're both dressed up. And as you can see, I'm confined to a wheelchair. So that's something that I've been physically disabled since I was like 18 months old. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. And on the other side, you'll see that I'm in a picture teaching. And I love to do that. I love to teach. I love to share the knowledge that I have. I love to serve people and really, get people to think so that they can start to make changes to their life. Because you know what? One thing I realized when I started my personal growth journey, that was 7.5 years ago, when I went through the life-altering experience of going through a divorce. That's when I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, you know what? I want to be the best version of me, because at that time my son was 4 years old. And I thought, if I'm not the best version of me, how am I going to be a good mom? How am I going to be the best mom for my son to bring him up? And so that's when I started getting into this stuff. But the first 2-3 years were quite difficult because I was consumed by the loss of the marriage. And when I met Bob Proctor, and that's that picture there on the bottom, he is the most phenomenal man I've ever met in my life. He just turned 86. I have personally met him, had discussions with him. He's taught me, he's mentored me. And this man has really changed my life. Because after I started the personal development work and became a coach, I met him 2-3 years later. And Proctor Gallagher Institute, I'm a certified consultant, but he has really enabled me to use the material that I knew and taught it to me in such a way that I've been able to implement it in my life. And it's changed my whole life. It's changed the inside of me. And it's changed the way I think, the way I operate. And I'm able to really, really achieve what I want. And so now I'm not part of that 93% anymore. I'm part of that 7%. And that has been an amazing difference in my life. And I always am grateful for Bob Proctor. For by chance, I came across him, and he's living right here in Toronto, which is like, whoa. But you know what? The universe is amazing. And you know what? Everyone gets what they want at the right time. It's amazing how it works. So this is a little bit about me. So what are we going to cover today? we're going to set you up for success by setting up the right goal. Okay, that's a key element to setting goals is setting the right goal. But you also want to understand that there's a part of your mind that is really holding you back from achieving your goal, reaching your goal. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. And we're also going to talk about some key habits, okay, that if you implement, and it's got to be implemented by you, because I implemented it for me, because I can only control me. If you implement these habits, you will hit your goal, okay? So there are 3 different types of goals. There's A-type goals, there's B-type goals, and there's C-type goals, okay? An A-type goal is something you're doing that you already know how to do, all right? Then there's the B-type goal, something you think you can do. And a lot of people tend to set these type of goals, all right? Now, the C-type goal, that's where you really want to go, because that's where your wants are, your deep desires are. They come from your fantasies, and they're originated through the effective use of your imagination, all right? And I'll tell you something, I used to set A and B type goals all the time. But when I met Bob Proctor, that's when I started to set those C-type goals, okay? And I realized that I was not setting the C-type goal because I was scared. I let my fears control me, okay? But this quote, oh my God, it's amazing. It's the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So I realized as I started to use my mind and I started to think, okay? I used to think I thought, but I didn't think. And I realized that my true C-type goal, the true deep desires that I have, okay, is the treasure I'm looking for. It's really the treasure I'm looking for. And it's been the treasure I've been looking for all my life, okay? And so the C-type goal, it's going to stretch you. It's going to stretch you, but it's something you will not know how to do, okay? But you know you will do, okay? Because it's something you really want to do. And the stretching part, because the whole point of a goal is to grow you. That's the point of a goal. So the stretching part, okay, is going to give you the opportunity to look within and to really, really find the hidden gems that we all have that are within you and to bring those hidden gems to the surface. That's what a C-type goal does. Okay? So another thing I realized is this. In the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until ultimately we become enslaved by it. This was me. This was me to the T. And I'm telling you, I became just a routine person. I just did daily little measly things. I would get stuck on the internet and just, surfing. And I would just, watch Netflix, or I would just, watch the news. And boy, the news is not a really good thing to watch because a lot of negativity goes into your mind. And you'll understand in a little bit when I talk to you about the subconscious mind. But this was me. And it was through Bob Proctor that I realized that I'm doing this. And I'm like, whoa, 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 I got to change this, because you know what? I've got an opportunity in this physical earth to really make a difference for me and to make a difference for the people around me. And so I said, I'm getting out of this little circle. Okay, so just be aware that if you don't define goals, you do become loyal to daily trivia, and we become just so stuck in that. And that's where I feel a lot of people end up. And I know I was there at one point in my life. So what do you want? That's the question to ask yourself. What do you really, really want? Okay, and we all have personal wants, and we all have professional wants. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are in your life, what stage you are, or what age you are, but we all have a personal want and we all have a professional want. Okay, and these wants, okay, will be different at different stages in your life, and that's okay. But the key is to really understand what you want and to determine that C-type goal so that you can start working towards it. Now, I said to you that I had a really amazing personal want that Mr. Bob Proctor brought to the surface for me. So my personal want is to walk again. And that's something I knew. So I was 18 months old when I had a cholera vaccine back in East Africa. I was walking before this, and I had a reaction to it. And they did some exploratory surgery. So it was from start to finish, it was like a week's time. And they did a couple of exploratory surgeries. And at the end of it, I wasn't able to walk. And so, my parents took me to England, and then, alhamdulillah, or I'm very grateful that I came to Canada. And so I came to Canada when I was 4 years old, and I had some surgeries, to make sure I didn't develop scoliosis, etc. So anyhow, I think by the time I was age 10, everything had settled, no more surgeries, no more anything, but they said there was nothing they could do, they meaning doctors. But I had this deep desire to walk, and I just had this deep desire, and I knew one day that would happen, but I just didn't know how to make it happen. So now, thanks to Mr. Bob Proctor and me understanding how my mind works, okay, that's my personal goal, to walk again. And I know it's coming. It's coming. It's there. It's just I got to do more work within my mind to be able to achieve it. Okay, so that's my personal goal. I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. Okay, my professional goal, well, I love to, serve. I love to share my knowledge. I love to make an impact and make a difference to the people around me. And so that's what I'm working towards in my professional goal. And my professional goal, the big C-type goal, is to be out there, on the stage and, just talk to thousands of people at once and really, really make a difference to people's lives. And that's a vision I hold to. And, the two combine really nicely because it's a vision I hold of walking on stage, not just going with my wheelchair. So those are my two goals. And so ask yourself, what do you want? And a lot of the times what happens is people sometimes will say, well, I don't know what I want. Okay, that's okay. But I'll tell you one thing, you will know what you don't want. So make a list. Take a clean sheet of paper and make a list of what you don't want. And then look at that list and do the polar opposite, because that's what you want. Okay, again, this is stuff that I'm sharing with you, but you've got to do the work. The action has to happen. Okay, just watching this and saying, yeah, it's not going to change anything. You've got to do something about this material and this knowledge that I'm sharing with you today. You've got to make the decision to really, really change something. Okay, so create that list. Okay, and if you don't know what you want, determine what you don't want, and then do the polar opposite. Okay. Now, we all have negative limiting beliefs. I had these too. Okay? So you'll ask yourself as you're going through this, who am I to do this? I ask myself this lots of times. It will be really hard. Yeah, I used to think that too. Okay? What will others think of me? Well, Mr. Bob Proctor taught me something really important. Only worry about what you think of yourself, not what others think. Because you know what? You can control you, and all that matters is what you think. Don't worry about what other people think about you, because that's not your business. It's their business. Okay? What if I fail? Well, I learned something before I even met Bob Proctor's, that everything in life is an event or an experience to learn and grow from. There are no failures. There are only lessons in life. Okay? And then the last one is, I don't want to be selfish, because a lot of the times when you're focusing on your goals, you think you're being selfish. Or if you have a money goal, because there's a lot of people out there that have a money goal, you're being greedy. Well, these are all limiting beliefs. And if you start to think about these and hold on to these and dwell on these, well, they're going to stop you from reaching your goal. So what do you want to do? You want to challenge these and you want to get them out. You want to acknowledge them and you want to let them go and let them flow through you. Okay? Because energy is always flowing to and through us constantly. Okay? And all of this thinking is energy. That's all it is. But we can allow it to just flow through us and we can challenge it. So what have we learned so far? It's important to create a C-type goal. Okay? Because that's the goal that's going to stretch you. That's the goal that's going to, get you to look for your hidden gems within you. You will not know how to achieve that, but you want to set that so that you can grow. Okay? Because we have been given this opportunity. We're spiritual beings with an intellect, our mind, okay, having a physical experience. Okay? We're in this physical body. And so you will not know how to achieve it, but you want to grow. Okay? We're creative beings, and our being is to keep creating, and to keep growing. Okay? And you want to challenge any negative or limiting beliefs that you might have. Okay, because they will come. They will come to teach you, but you want to challenge them and you want to override them. Okay, so there is a part of your mind that is holding you back from reaching your goal. Okay, it happens. What is it? It's the autopilot part of your mind. And we all have it. Okay, we're all doing this. Everything is autopilot. Okay, we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth. That's part of the autopilot. Okay. If you're a coffee drinker, you get up, go down, make your coffee. That's autopilot. Okay? So there's a lot of habits that we've established that are autopilot. Okay, that's a paradigm. We all have a paradigm. And what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a series of beliefs, ideas, values, and habits that is a way of thinking about the real world. Okay? So it's a multitude of habits, and we all have habits. Okay? The paradigm, it resides in our subconscious mind. Okay? And I'm going to show you a picture of our minds in a second. An example of a paradigm, okay, is when the Wright brothers, okay, created the airplane. So they had this vision, and they were very young. I think one of them was like 11 years old. They had this vision, they had this, idea, okay, of having humans to fly. And they worked at it and they failed at it, but they kept working at it. And they created the airplanes. And thanks to them, and they created that airplane, they overrode their paradigm. They had a paradigm, they had this, and they just kept overriding it, and they created the airplane. And now we're all able to, benefit from them creating that. So that concept was already there, but they just became aware of it and they put it to fruition because they kept pushing through it. Okay. Now we may not be using the airplane so much today in today's time, but it's there for our benefit, and we can fly it anywhere we want like this. Okay. So the problem is when we are asked what the mind looks like, we get literally a blank screen in the screen of our mind, a blank image. Nothing comes up in the screen of our mind. Now, if I were to ask you, think about what color is your fridge, you would have a picture in the screen of your mind, and you could automatically say to me, oh, it's white, oh, it's sterling silver, stainless steel, silver, okay, or it's blue, or it's yellow, whatever color your fridge is, because you can literally imagine it. But when it comes to the mind, it's not so easy. Okay, and some of you may imagine the mind, as a picture of the brain, right, from anatomy class, okay, or even pictures of things that you've seen. But that's not the mind. That's just an anatomy of the brain. Okay, what the mind is, okay, and this is stick figure that we use at Proctor Gallagher Institute. Okay, the stick figure is a image that Dr. Thurman Fleet created in 1934. Okay, and he said the mind is an activity. Okay, it's not a thing, it's an activity. And so he created this large circle, and the bottom is the smaller circle. The large circle represents the mind, and the smaller one, the body. And it's because our body is the instrument of the mind. And when I learned this concept, that's when I started to really want to bring my personal goal to fruition. Because I realized that, hey, if the body is just the instrument of the mind, well, my mind is working fully. Well, I can start to use my mind to reach my personal goal of walking again. Okay? And so I'm using that and I'm working with it on a daily basis to get to my goal. Okay? So we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Okay? Our conscious mind is our thinking mind. And it's our thinking mind where we have our senses. Our thinking mind is what connects us to the outside world. Okay? So our senses are all part of our conscious mind, our thinking mind. Okay, we get to choose with our conscious mind. It's also where our intellectual faculties reside. Okay, things like our imagination. Okay, so we have an amazing ability to imagine things, and we can use our conscious mind to imagine. Okay, and we use our conscious mind to get to our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is our feeling mind. This is where the paradigms reside, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, this is where our autopilot resides. And 95% of our being is in our subconscious mind. Okay, so whatever we're doing on a day in, day out basis, 95% of that is on our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is used to get to our subconscious mind. Okay, but our subconscious mind is our autopilot, and it's where everything is. Our subconscious mind doesn't know right from wrong, doesn't know truth from false. There's no ability to choose in the subconscious mind. Okay, so we need to use our conscious mind to get into our subconscious mind. Okay, and the best times to get to our subconscious mind is either first thing in the morning or right before you go to sleep. And that's when you can use your conscious mind to get into your subconscious mind. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the conscious and subconscious minds. Okay, so everything is energy out here. Everything. Okay, and energy is always flowing to and through us. And so we get to choose our thoughts because it's in our thinking mind, our intellectual mind. Okay, so when we take the energy and we create a thought, those thoughts cause feelings within us. Okay, and that's the emotional mind. So our emotions reside in our subconscious mind. Okay, and so we choose our thoughts, which then lead to our feelings. Okay, and those feelings lead to a vibration within our body. Okay, so and vibration is something we use to name a feeling. Okay, and so that's feeling is what we how we understand what a vibration is. Okay, so how we're feeling. So if you're feeling joyful, if you're feeling happy, well, you're gonna produce good actions because you're gonna feel great. But if you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling angry or resentful or guilty, well, you're not gonna do as much. You're not gonna have as many actions out there. Okay, or your actions may not be the greatest. Okay, so it's very important to understand how you're feeling. And it's very important to understand the thoughts that you're having, because it's your thoughts that lead to your feelings. And then your feelings lead to your actions, which will ultimately lead to your results. What's happening in your life? What are you getting? Okay? And it's all based on your mind and your conscious and your subconscious mind. But it's your subconscious mind that's your autopilot, that's 95% of your being. Okay? And one thing I'll tell you that I learned is we have full control over our thinking. Nobody can make you think anything you don't want to think. And I used to be in victim mode a lot. And when I say victim mode, I used to blame everything and everybody around me. And when I blamed, I lost control. I was not in control. And I realized that I want to be in control. And being in control means that I am responsible for my thinking. I am responsible for my feelings, because nobody can make me feel anything. Okay? It's my thinking that causes my feelings. And when I realize that I'm the controller of my thinking, that controls my feelings, okay, and that controls my vibration, which results in my actions, which will ultimately get to my results, okay, then I'm in full control. And then I can start to make change, because I started taking responsibility and I got myself out of the victim mode. Okay, and it was very easy when I went through my divorce to fall into that victim mode. Okay, but you know what? I'm very grateful that I came across this material. Right, there's a lot of other writers and thought activists that I started to learn about through, and it really changed my life. But I'll tell you, Bob Proctor was the one person that I'm so grateful for. Okay, Louise Hay is another one. She changed a lot of what I was thinking. Okay, so another man that is very important and has taught me a lot. Okay, I've never met this man because he's passed away, but he has an amazing book out there called Psycho-Cybernetics. Okay, and so this man, he wrote this book in the 60s, and he talked about cybernetic mechanism. And he talked about that a cybernetic mechanism is what guides you toward one direction. Okay, so it's a program, and it governs you to one specific direction. And when you're off course, okay, the cybernetic mechanism adjusts, okay, and it gets you back on course. So it course corrects you. That's what psycho-cybernetics is about. Okay, so it's a cybernetic mechanism. And so what he talks about in this book is the self-image. And that's the third part of the G.P.S. So we've talked about the goals, we've talked about the paradigm, okay, and your conscious mind, and subconscious mind. But now I want to talk about the self-image, because I'll tell you, the self-image will hold you back from achieving your goal. Okay? And so let me give you an example of a thermostat. Okay? So when you set your thermostat to, let's say, 70, okay? And here in Toronto, it gets cold in the wintertime. So if I set my thermostat at 70, but I go to the front door and I open the door, well, in the middle of winter, cold air is going to come in. So now my house will become cold if I keep the door open. But what will happen with the thermostat, because it's a cybernetic mechanism, okay, is it's going to, of course, it's going to adjust, and it's going to, go back in that direction of bringing the heat up so that it stays at 70, even though the door's open, and the heat will just get higher and higher, so that the temperature in the house goes back to 70. Okay, and when I close the door, it will keep putting it to 70, the heat, and once it hits that 70, it'll stop. And that's what a cybernetic mechanism is. Okay? But the same happens with our self-image. Okay? Our self-image will hold us back, okay, if we don't align it with where we want to go. Because it will be, operating based on how we are, based on where we are today. Okay, so that's an important part of changing and resetting your GPS in order to achieve your goal. We all have a financial thermostat as well. Okay, so if you're working for a company and you're earning your 50K, okay, and now you make a decision. Oh, so when I made a decision that I'm going to leave the corporate world, because I have 20 plus corporate world experience, 20 plus years, and so when I made that decision, I was used to going into work, okay, working for somebody, so trading time for money and getting paid, getting my paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever it was, okay. But when I made a decision to become an entrepreneur, I had to change my self-image, because my self-image was, oh, you get up in the morning, go to work, come home, boom, that's it. Okay? But I had to change my self-image, and I had to work on it, and I had to start thinking as an entrepreneur. Okay? So my financial thermostat had to change. And until it changed, I kept going back. The cybernetic mechanism of my self-image kept course correcting me and said, oh, you know what? Your day's over. That's it. Oh, you know what? You'll get paid at the end of the 2 weeks. That's it. So I had to start thinking like an entrepreneur. I had to start, believing and putting those things in place. Okay. And I had to use the law of repetition to change my self-image. Okay. And so I love this picture, because it's like, you know what? When you look in the mirror, you want to see the image of the person you want to be. So this cat wants to become a lion. All right. So our self-image is really about, how do you see yourself? Okay. It's also about, what opinion do you have of yourself? And that inner voice at the emotional level is what defines who you want to be. But that inner voice at the emotional level can also hold you back if it's not programmed to where you want to go. Because it will perform, because the self-image is a cybernetic mechanism, and Maxwell Maltz says that in his book. Okay, and we've had lots of experiences of that, and so it does course correct until you change it. Okay, so when I do mirror work, as Louise Hay recommends, okay, I look in the mirror and I tell myself how I want to be as a person who's walking, as a person who's reached her professional goal of, presenting on stage. Okay, and I have to do that. And I always do mirror work before I present. Doesn't matter what I'm presenting. Okay, but I always do mirror work, because that's how I can change me. Okay, by looking in and changing me. And so people who, for example, want to diet and get to a certain weight, okay, they may lose the weight for a short period of time, okay, because they'll do some action, but you'll find that the cybernetic mechanism, so that self-image that they have deep within their subconscious mind, will bring them back, and they tend to gain the weight again, because the cybernetic mechanism has course corrected. They haven't worked on the self-image part. Okay, this happens with people in different areas of their life, even when it comes to relationships. Okay, so the self-image is a key area you want to reset when you are when you have decided what your goal is. Okay, so you want to start seeing yourself as that person. You want to know, whatever your goal is, how do I walk when I'm in that goal? How do I talk when I'm in that goal? So I ask myself that question, right? If I'm going to be, this person who, is presenting to thousands of people on stage, well, how am I going to walk? How am I going to talk, right? How am I going to greet people? How am I going to meet people? What kind of habits do I need to have? As an entrepreneurial, right? Maybe I need to have different types of discipline versus when I was working in the corporate world. Okay, questions that I ask myself, right? What kind of people am I hanging out with? Okay, what do I need? What do I need to be to get the results I'm looking to get? Okay, and I'll tell you, the change has to come from the inside. That's when everything works. Okay, so when it comes to self-image, you want to do two things. You want to align your thoughts to what you want to get, and you also want to recognize that what are you doing, okay, and how are you seeing yourself? What are you doing? Okay, and what do you want to see yourself as? And that's what you got to keep visioning. So your thoughts and your seeing yourself have to be aligned and in harmony with what you want in order for your self-image to be that cybernetic mechanism that's going to work for you. Okay, so now cybernetics and paradigms are both control systems. That's pretty much what they are. And they operate essentially on the same principle. Okay, they're both in your subconscious mind, and they both maintain a definite course of action and will not deviate from the course that has been established. Okay, how you've been programmed. So in order to change that, you must alter the paradigm to achieve the result you desire. Otherwise, you won't reach your goal. And that change has to happen at the subconscious level. And you can do it with law of repetition through aligning your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions to the goal so that you get the results you want. Okay. And by the way, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, the three of those, okay, make your attitude. And we have full control of our attitude. So to change, you need to learn how to think to override your paradigm. Okay, because it's the thoughts. It always starts with the thoughts. And so I mentioned your thinking, okay, creates feeling, which puts us into vibration. Okay, we are energetic beings and we operate on frequencies based on our vibration. Okay, so if we're somebody who's currently getting a result of earning 100,000 a year, but we want to earn 250K, okay, a year, okay, we're now going to have to go on a different frequency. We're going to have to go up the frequency, okay? Because right now we're used to operating on this frequency because that's what we're used to doing. So imagine you are, trying to stream something on the internet, okay? When you're at your house, your internet is super working great. So you're able to go on, and stream whatever you want. So if you go into YouTube, you'll stream a YouTube video, it'll work perfectly because you've got the frequency is connected to your internet with the computer and the internet and the router, etc. Okay, but when you go into a hotel room, you find sometimes that the frequency is different, and so you're not able to stream. Okay, that's what vibration is all about. If you compare it like that, that's what it's all about. So if you're vibrating at a low level, okay, not at the level of your goal, okay, you're not going to reach that goal. And the way to change your vibration is through your thinking. Okay, so in the case of the internet, if you go to a place where the internet, the connection is good, you're going to now get to stream properly. It's not going to be intermittent. Okay, but you got to consistently stay close to that range so that you can, okay, reach that goal. Okay, and stream. But in the case of your goal, if you're not vibrating at that frequency, okay, your cybernetic mechanism, your paradigm is going to bring you back. So you've got to be able to think so that you're feeling that way of your goal and stay at that level. Okay. So what have we learned so far? The paradigm controls your results, and your self-image is part of that paradigm. You must get on the frequency of your goal. So you have to learn how to vibrate at the level of your goal. Okay, and the way to do that is by asking certain questions like, how do I walk if I'm at that place? How do I talk if I'm in that place? What am I thinking if I'm in that place? Okay, those are the types of questions you want to ask yourself. Okay, because you want to align your thinking and your feeling, because when you align your feeling to the goal, you're vibrating at that level. Okay, but you must think from the goal. So you must imagine what it would be like, okay, and start to really detail out what would it feel like if I was there. Okay, and that's where the magic happens. And you got to do all of that in the present tense, not I will get there, I am there. Okay, because when you start to say I am there, because remember the subconscious mind doesn't know right from wrong, truth from false. When you start saying I am, walking, for me, example, or I am presenting in front of thousands. The subconscious mind may not believe it at first, but if you keep doing it with the law of repetition and persistently and consistently, it will be embedded and it'll become your new self-image. And it'll become your new paradigm. So, we all have a comfort zone. I had a comfort zone. And my comfort zone, it took me a while to get out. And that comfort zone was, doing the daily trivia, being enslaved by it, staying in that victim mode, right? Those were all my comfort zones. Okay. But when I learned and I got out of that comfort zone and I started, understanding and I started studying how to, how the mind works. And I started putting, the right things into me and created it by my thinking. Okay. I was able to create a new comfort zone. And this is my new comfort zone now. Okay. And it's amazing. So don't stay in your comfort zone. Okay. Make a decision. Make the choice. We all have the choice. Okay, that's our greatest power, the ability to choose. No matter what the situation is, no matter where you are, you always have a choice. Always. Okay, so make a decision, get out of your comfort zone. Okay, grow. Okay, grow and develop. Okay, and take the time to determine what your C-type goal is. Because believe me, when you start to truly work towards your deep desire, everything changes. Everything really changes, and all areas of your life will feel amazing. Doesn't matter what it is. It's just going to start to work wonders for you. Okay? So there are some key habits that we must have in order to achieve our goal. Okay? So write down your goal. Whatever your goal is, write it down. And don't just write it down one time. Write it down every day. Write it down every day, multiple times. That's what I do. Okay? You want to visualize yourself in your goal. Okay, and that's when the amazing intellectual faculties that we have, okay, that differentiate us in the animal kingdom. Okay, imagination is the amazing one, and I love that one. Okay, so visualize yourself in that goal and do that again daily. Take some time, relax, and imagine yourself there. Develop your self-image. Okay, so right now you've got your self-image based on your comfort zone, based on whatever your results are. Okay, once you know what you want, change your self-image. Okay, create the self-image that's going to align you with what you want. Focus on goal-achieving activities. Okay, so once you've determined your goal, start to come up with some activities that are going to get you to your goal. And it's the action that makes the difference. Okay, you can study, you can understand, okay, but until you actually do something and perform actions, nothing's going to change. And I learned that the hard way as well, by the way. And create a calendar and a schedule. Okay, so put things into your calendar, put things into your schedule, okay, so that you do have time carved out to do this. Because if you don't put it in, it's not going to happen. Surround yourself with people that are going to support you around this, okay, people that are going to encourage you. And be in a mastermind. So be in a group of people where you're working and meeting on a regular basis. Okay. I have an accountability partner and I meet with her every single day. Okay. And it's been one of the best things I did for myself because we understand this stuff. We both have our, our two goals and we, catch each other and we support each other and we encourage each other. And take 100% responsibility because we are all responsible for our life. We are all responsible for our results. We are responsible for our attitude, okay? Our thinking, our feelings, and our actions are our responsibility. Nobody can make you think something you don't want to think. Nobody can make you feel something you don't want to feel, okay? And yes, thoughts will come up, thoughts that'll bring you down, thoughts that are negative, but you have a choice. You can either accept it and let it go into your subconscious mind and become emotionally involved with it, or you can reject the negative thought. The choice is yours. Okay? And when you start to increase your self-awareness, you start to understand, okay, that, wow, is this thought serving me? Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is this feeling serving me? Ask yourself these. And when the answer is no, well, reject it. Because you have the ability to do it. The common denominator of success is that successful people, they do the things that failures don't like to do. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time. This is a very important thing. The common denominator of success is that successful people do the things that failures don't like to do. Okay, if you just ponder on that for a little bit and you realize and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta start doing things that I don't want to do because I want to become successful. So let's do a quick recap. So set a C-type goal for yourself. Okay, stretch yourself. Okay, set a C-type goal that's your deep desire. Okay, and look for those hidden gems because they're there. We all have them. Your subconscious mind controls your results. So we talked about paradigms, and self-image is part of the paradigm. Okay, so reset your paradigm. Reset your self-image. Okay, and information is not enough. I'll tell you, you must break your old habits because those habits are deep-rooted in your subconscious mind, but we all have the ability to change them. Okay, and it starts with your thinking. One thought at a time, and you can do it. I've done it. You can do it. The question is, are you willing to do it? Because everybody's able, but are you willing to do it? Are you going to make a decision to do it? Are you going to make a choice to do it? So I'm doing some clarity calls. Okay, so clarity call is to clarify what you want. It's to uncover what is holding you back, because there are things that are holding people back, us all, right? It's also an ability to do a strategy to make the rest of 2020 the best year of your life. Okay, I know every day I'm working on becoming the best version of me every single day. Okay, and every day is a new day, and so I can always be better. I love that word, better. I have 10 spots, so it's first come, first serve basis. Okay, and before I even give my information for those that don't have it, I want to just talk a little bit about this 24-week transformational program that at PGI we offer, and it's called Thinking into Results. Okay, and that program, it's a guided, proven process, and it's got over 50 years of work in it. Okay, to set and achieve your worthy goal. Okay, that's the C-type goal. It helps you to design the goal to get you inspired and committed to. It changes your paradigm, and it truly eliminates your negative habits and beliefs permanently. Okay, because it's a thinking into results program. Okay, and this program, you get the support from me. Okay, and the accountability from me as a coach. Okay, so you're going to study with like-minded people, which is an amazing way to really change things. And it can be used for changing your career, your business, your results, right? And your relationships, your finances, anything, truly anything, because it is really, this is some feedback we've received. It's like someone handed you an instruction manual for your life. That's what it is. And I know for me, for 7.5 years, I've done a lot of different personal development courses and materials. And I've studied a lot of different things, but this is the one thing that changed my life completely. And I'm so grateful to PGI and to Bob Proctor for doing this for me. And that's why I've joined with them to really use this content and share and really make a difference for people's lives. Okay, so book your call now. There's no better time than now. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, tomorrow is another day, but there's no better time than now. So if you want to be one of those 10 to do a clarity call with me, send a message to me. There's my contact or an email, whichever you prefer. Okay, and then I can book a time for you, and we can do a call so I can help you with gaining some clarity around what's holding you back and gaining, a strategy for you to make this a great year for you. Okay. So I'm going to take this out. If anybody wants to take a picture, take a quick picture of it. Thank you for your time. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to unmute. If there are any questions, we have some time on that. Um, if there are any questions, I can take some questions now and answer anything you might have. There's a lot of material I covered.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
First, I joined a bit late because I was finding it difficult to find my password. I'm Fatima from Toronto.
Okay.
So C-type, the first thing, I missed that.
Okay.
Second is it ever too late to start? And the third question is that when you are at your more zealous, youthful stage, what if opportunities, even if they come by, you are not able to avail of them because of restrictive environment around? So then, like, still, is it you who should be taking the blame on yourself? Like, even if the seed is good, if the nurturing environment is not around, that seed may not flourish to become a tree and grow and, become a fruitful tree. Likewise, if the nurturing environment is there, but the seed is like weak, deficient. So doesn't it work both ways? These are my thoughts.
Okay, so a C-type goal, so we have A-type goal, B-type goal, and C-type goal, okay? A C-type goal is your deep desire, what you truly, truly want, okay? It's your fantasies and you use it through the effective use of imagination, okay? And so that's what a C-type goal is, and that's what I have put together for me, a professional C-type goal and a personal C-type goal, okay? Now, it's never too late, in my opinion. I'm 50 years old, okay, and I'm doing this, and I've set my C-type goal over the last couple of years, okay? And so for me, as long as you're there in your life, it's never late. You just want to, pursue things that you truly have a deep desire for. And I'll tell you something, I haven't had this much energy in my life in a very long time. And it's because I am working towards what I want, okay? So in terms of the seeds and the environment, okay, you create the environment. And you create the environment through your thinking. And yeah, the seed is there, but it's the nurturing you are going to do through your thinking, okay, through your feelings and through your actions. Okay? And your conscious mind has the ability to accept and reject things. And so, if you focus on you, because that's all you can do, is focus on you, because you can only control you. If you stay focused on you and you continue to work on your thinking, which will create your feelings, which will create your vibration and move you into action, okay? Whatever the seeds that are planted will start to flourish, provided you stay focused on you, okay? A lot of the times we tend to want to change the people around us. I know I did at one point in my life. I have an 11-year-old that I can't control. He makes his own decisions. I coach him, I guide him, I support him because I'm his mom, but he makes his decisions. And then he has to deal with whatever the consequences are, if there are any. Okay? But I know that I can only control me. And that's what I stay focused on, is me.
I agree. Yeah, but I'm sure you would also agree that most societies are patriarchal, especially Muslim societies are patriarchal. So the picture, the image, the expectation from women as wives, mothers, daughters are kind of slavish obedience. So even if one tries to exercise their mind as far as thinking is concerned, execution of those thoughts towards making oneself develop as one would like to, aren't there too many obstructions and hindrances as far as expectations from the patriarchal setup around you that does not let you act and nurture yourself and your folks around you, even though you are most well-intentioned. But the fact that you do not have the authority and the power, doesn't that obstruct your growth and the growth of folks around you, which again makes your paradigm and your emotional well-being, it affects your emotional well-being and hence your actions and reactions. That is what life experience has taught and observation has taught.
So what I'm hearing right now is your paradigm talking and your self-limiting beliefs. Okay? All of that can be changed. The decision to want to change has to come first, okay? Because without decision, nothing works. And then the choice to change, okay? All of this stuff that you just expressed is the paradigm talking. And the paradigm has been created and you've been conditioned to think that way from when you were probably a child. Okay, and it's the upbringing and it's the conditioning. And the paradigms become so strong, okay, that we find it difficult to see anything past it. And I know this because that's what was happening with me when it came to my personal goal. Okay, is that the paradigm was so strong that even though I started to think at age 10, I never believed I could actually do it. And so I started to really put those thoughts into place to harmonize with my goal and to change my self-image.
Yeah, definitely. It works both ways. Like you have to pick up your socks and you have to make that extra effort to speak up for yourself and to act for yourself. And a majority chicken out on that, maybe. But I have also observed and experienced, much though you struggle, but then it creates a lot of acrimony also around when you are too vocal for your self-action and self-thoughts and all. And so you have to kind of, uh, one step forward, two step backwards, then to take a back foot so as to make the environment around you conducive for all. And instead, become yourself, like what they say, Qurbani ka bakra.
Well, and a lot of the times when you first take on personal development work, you will go forward and then go backwards. That's part of the process, okay?
Yeah.
But it's all about, learning from it,
Determination. Yeah.
right? It's learning and it's the decision and a committed decision,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, there will be some steps backwards. I know I went through that, okay?
Yeah.
But I've made a committed decision that I'm doing this no matter what.
And
And
what about the acrimony and the Islamic also, the factor that one has to be obedient? And if you yourself are not seen to be obedient, how do you expect your children to be obedient to you?
well, I think this material that I have come across, especially through Bob Proctor, I personally find it aligns very well to Islam. Okay, and you know, controlling my thinking is up to me. So we want to support our kids and stuff, and we want to obviously follow what Islam says, but we want to understand that our mind and our thinking, our feelings are all controlled by us, and we have to take responsibility for our thinking and our feelings. Okay, let's you and I schedule some time to talk. Okay,
Sure.
send me a message. Send me a message, and
Yeah, I need your number again, please.
I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody. Okay, I'm gonna send my phone number on the chat, so if everybody can just grab it from there. That's my number. Send me a message, and we'll set up time to talk.
I appreciate. Jazakallah.
You're welcome.
Email
Any
is
other? Sorry.
coach. Email is coach@mubinajafar.com. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my email. You can send me an email if you prefer. Yeah, I'll send that one.
No, I would prefer message, but just for keepsake.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I put both my number and my email address.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Comments? So I just wanted to say one closing thing here, because we are at the top of the hour. I know for me, I was in a place that I wanted. I was in a wish place, okay? But it's when I truly made the change within that things started to change, okay? And until you do that, things aren't going to change. You're going to stay in this wish place a lot. And so I realized that, you know what, that's the place I was in. I realized I was staying in victim mode, and victims always lose, okay? Because I was blaming everybody. I wasn't taking responsibility. And the minute I started taking responsibility and I took myself out of the victim mode, okay, I changed. And that is when everything changed for me. Okay, and it all started with my thinking. And I said to myself, no, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to change. I'm not going to live with daily trivia. I'm not going to be enslaved by it, right? I am going to change my life and I'm going to achieve what I want. And I turned 50 in February. So you know what? I have a lot of time ahead of me. And I'm just so excited about it. So the change has to happen within. So somebody's making a comment here. I find the same about obedience to parents a bit hard, as it's not what we have been ingrained. So I guess the question is around how do we, how do we do what we're being told to do, yet do what we want to do? Am I correct? Okay, so it's all about perception. Perception is another one of our intellectual faculties. Okay, and so it's these intellectual faculties that differentiate us, right, in the animal kingdom. And so perception is all about how you look at things. Okay, if you look at something, if you're trying to, if you're living with a parent, an elderly parent, I'm living with mine. It's about how you perceive taking care of them and doing what they've asked us to do. Okay, if you're going to look at it as, oh, you know what, I'm being obedient, well, that's not going to make you feel good. That's not going to give you a high vibration. That's going to look at it and bring you down in your vibration. And then you're not going to feel good and you're not going to want to do it. Okay. But if you turn that perception and you start looking as, you know what, I'm doing something, okay, for my parent. And you know what, I'm taking care of them. They took care of me when they were young. I'm taking care of them now. Okay. And you know what, I'm going to get some benefits from my Lord. Okay, so it's all about the perception. If you look at it as a have to, it's going to be more challenging. But if you look at it as a want to, and you can change the perception, it's totally different. I hope that helps. Wayne Dyer said something, and I need to just pull it up in a quote here. So Wayne Dyer said, and Wayne Dyer is a very well-known man when it comes to thought, consciousness. He says, when you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes. And that's so true. And so that's the thing when it comes to, the whole concept of obedience, right? and dealing with parents, change the way you're looking at it. And when you do that, it'll change. And I know that because that's what I've done too. So if there's any other questions, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you gained some good knowledge here, and I hope you're going to act and take the information and do something with it, and not just be another session where you just gain knowledge. I hope you're going to act on it and apply what you've learned, because it's the action that really makes the difference. Okay, So thank you once again, and have a great rest of your day. And, book your call with me now. Take care.